Our third guest today, running for the Hanover Board trustee position, is Syed Hussaini, and we have 6 questions for you today. But first of all, thank you very much for participating and being here. We really appreciate the opportunity that you provide by your participation.
Thank you. Thank you for giving the opportunity to have a platform.
To start, I'm sure there are probably some voters who are not familiar with you and who you are. And as always, it's sometimes difficult to do, but how would you describe yourself? How would you give voters who aren't aware of who you are a profile of yourself?
So my name is Syed Hussaini. I lived in Hanover Park for the last 18 years. I've been in community service work from serving on non-for-profit boards for the last 12 years. I'm president of Indo-American Center. I am on YMCA board. I'm on Lions Club. I'm on at least 9 boards active right now. I love to serve the community. I think a lot of decisions are made and how the community is going to shape up in the future. And these decisions are being made by the villages, that these decisions are being made by the not-for-profit organizations, what they're going to do, what they want to do for the community, and it's important for us to get involved and start working. So that's one reason I am part of this race as well. But as Syed Hussaini, people, what they need to know about me is just I love to serve the community and I lead by example. I just don't say talk the talk, but I do the walk.
Thank you. What is main motivation for you in running for this particular position? What has led up to your initial decision to run for the board?
Sure. If you asked me this question a couple of years ago, it would be completely different than what it is right now as to how I view what's happening here. Mayor Craig and I have been friends for years, and he asked me to serve on Development Commission a couple of years ago. While serving on Development Commission, I learned what kind of decisions are going through the Development Commissions, being proposed to the board members to make decisions to the village board, and how community is shaping up. So if we're not part of that decision making, we have no right to sit at home and complain about how things are going. So that kind of opened my eyes as to why people need to serve their own community that they live in. If they want to impact the community, if they want something to be changed, well, you got to have a seat at the table. So that's my motivation. And Mayor Craig has been that part to introduce me slowly to the politics, because I would have probably not. I would have said 2 years ago, no, Mayor, I don't want to do this. But just being on the Development Commission, I was part of making decisions on cannabis and everything else, where it's going to be sold and everything else. So it's just, you have a voice that gets heard, and decisions are being made, and the decision was made what the board decided on the Development Commission. So that's very impactful as to how much we can make and shape the community. But we don't realize that sitting at home, a store opened, a cannabis store opened right by my home. Well, where were you when the decisions were being made where it should be open? It was publicized on the Facebook and everything else, but only 4 people showed up. As much as we can put the signs up there, this and that. So we need to be involved in the community that we live in. We need to have a seat at the table, otherwise just sitting at home and complaining is not going to do any good for anybody. If I lived here 18 years, my kids love this community that they grew up in. That's the only thing that they know is Hanover Park. Probably they're going to decide to stay here as well. So I'm kind of shaping up for them that what community is going to look like, when we are not here.
Thank you. Thank you. What do you perceive as being the key issue or issues currently before the board, and how would your presence on the board impact those issues?
I think there are some disagreements. There has to be a sign of unity. That's what I'm running for. Mayor Craig brings that unity to the board, and want to make sure he has good in his heart. What I have seen him doing with me, with just prepping me up for Development Commission, to introduce me to this, to make decisions and stuff like that, and how impactful I have been, because my background, my career has been banking for the last 22 years. I use that knowledge when I'm sitting at the Development Commission and zoning and siting and stuff like that. So use my resources to reflect that on the village as to what I bring to the table. Did I answer your question, or?
Yes, yes, it does. No, it does, it certainly does. Why should voters cast a vote for you in this coming election?
They should vote, cast a ballot for who do they think that is going to best represent them. It's not about me, it's not about anybody, opponents or anybody. They can vote for anybody they want, that's their right. That's my right as, I hold the vote. What I try to bring is community service, my experience to the board, and a view of working together, unity. I have been in those situations many times when I'm being a manager. For the last 22 years, that's what I've been doing in banking, is being a manager for some reason or other, or one department or the other. But last 10 years has been in the commercial lending. There are disagreements that happens, but how to resolve it and how to bring the solution to the table is what I do always. Disagreements is good. You should have a debate. And that's how we're going to get to a conclusion, what's good for everybody, not just one. So I think that view I bring in, so hope they see that through, hope they see my career as to what I've been doing, my civic duties that I've been doing for the community. So hopefully they see everybody, so everybody have their own strength that they bring to the table. So it's their right, it's their vote, and they need to vote wisely and understand who they're voting for.
Okay, thank you. You've already touched on this in several of your previous answers, but I'll kind of give you an opportunity to reiterate. What do you feel that you have done in your professional and community life that best translates over to the trustee position on the board?
Okay, I think, yeah, you're right. I touched on that's my passion. That's why I'm running. As you know, I told you that I'm on several non-for-profit boards. I think last time I counted it was 9. Indo-American Center, I'm president right now. And the decisions that I make there, how it impacts the community. That I see in a flow as to how the board members agree and disagree, and then we make a decision. And that impacts the community and as to what direction Indo-American is taking to impact the community. We work on immigration issues, we work on senior services, we work on youth. So there's a lot of other components. So when I see those actions, how they impact the community, I see the same coming from Development Commission, what we proposed to the board, and how it gets implemented after board review and debate. Of course, there has to be a debate. And that's why there are 6 people sitting there and having that opinion of their own and making one decision that's going to fit almost everybody. So it cannot be everybody every time, just at least almost everybody. So we need to have that diversity on the board. That's one thing I'm proud of my slate itself, as to we bring that diversity. And Tanya was a veteran, we have Latino, Elisa, we have this variety that we bring different opinion to the board. The view that I have, Lisa might not have, Tanya might not have, Mayor not have, but we're getting on a slate because we want to have all those opinions and make one decision.
Excellent, thank you, thank you. Voters may be interested. Obviously, you've commented on your community participation and multi-board participation. What other elected offices, if any, have you held?
None. But appointed position is Development Commission, but everything else has been on non-for-profits.
Okay.
So this is my first.
And lastly, as a follow-up to that, since this is your first and only elected position, what can you comment on briefly that you perhaps are most proud of during your tenure on the board?
I've been 2 years as Development Commission.
Okay.
Yeah.
What would you state is your most? And I know you probably touched on this, but is there anything from that term that you were most proud of that you think translates really well to the board?
I think I'm all about businesses. That we need to have commercial businesses in Hanover Park, and there's 3 developments went through from Development Commission that I'm really proud of, that is taking fruition, taking a shape right now. I'm really proud. Last 2 years, that's all I've been on Development Commission, and these things I'm really proud of, that we are using a space to make sure we attract families to Hanover Park. You know, most of our area is family residential. We don't have much on a commercial side. I want that area to grow, and we don't have to, if we need to watch a movie, going to the next suburb. Instead, we could watch it in our whole Hanover Park. So we need to have that kind of family-oriented businesses in Hanover Park. So I'm very proud of what's developments happening in Hanover Park, and I want to continue to be part of it.
Excellent, thank you. Thank you very much for being here today and for your participation.
Thank you so much
and
for
your
being here.
candor. Thank you.